What is up, good people? Jungle Link here. Hope you're doing well. It ain't looking good out there. Bitcoin right now at 67,000. Ethereum at 1966. I mean, that sounds like some bear market numbers to me. XRP at $1.37, and everyone wondering, are we going to drop under a buck? Look, let me be honest with you. The smart minds out there say this is the very start of a prolonged bear market, a downturn that will last some time. If that's the case, heck yeah, XRP is going to go under a buck. Personally, myself, maybe I just don't want to accept it, but I feel like we're going to get the Clarity Act this year. Actually, onboarding institutions, adoption of the technology, which is what really matters, using this technology as a tool to build the future. I still have hope that we're going to have a nice run this year. But again, I can't ignore the brainiacs out there that say, no, this is just the very beginning of a long, and vicious bear market. We'll see it play out. Let me know down below what you think. And if this is a bear market and it ain't going to turn at any point this year, where are you looking for value? I mean, Flare to me sounds like the steal of the century under a penny. Like, heck, you can't beat that. XRP, if we go under a buck, hey, I'll start buying again. It'll still be higher than my average cost basis, but we've seen a lot happen, a lot of advancements. I think XRP will be one of my focal points. Let me know down below what you're seeing here. We got a lot to go over. Let's get into it here. We see this right here. Brad Garlinghouse. Ripple, they just raised $500 million at a $40 billion valuation. I'm hearing they're $10 billion higher right now as we speak. Citadel Securities, Fortress Investment Group, again, investing $500 million in the future of this company, and it's worth even more today than it was then here. Only 8 weeks later, $220 billion UK insurance giant Aviva announced tokenized traditional funds that they're going to be issuing on the XRP ledger. This is the adoption of this technology, using this as a tool to build the financial systems of the future. Doesn't get any bigger than that. This is what happens when Wall Street's smartest money gets positioned before institutional adoption goes live. And that's what we're seeing happen here. This is a big moment. To extrapolate on that, Ripple's really bridging the gap between TradFi and Web3. We haven't seen this type of adoption before. It's happening now in real time. The company teaming up with Aviva investors to bring RWAs, tokenized real-world assets, to the XRP ledger. That's what everyone wants. They want a system that can scale. They want to go to autonomous 365 markets, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen now. Tokenized traditional funds on the XRP ledger. Ripple's first major European asset manager. That big partnership here that's going to drive people to use this technology, expanding XRP utility for a massive institutional adoption. That's what we're seeing here with this deal. This ain't no joke. This isn't just an announcement. This is using the XRP ledger for its intended purpose. The original vision to be, this ledger of all sorts of value that's flowing on, XRP being the bridge currency. That's how this system was designed for day one. Now we see David Schwartz saying the following. Bitcoin, in his opinion, is largely a dead end. I want to know from you. Do you agree with that statement? Let me know down below. Someone asked him, are you ever going to pivot back to Bitcoin? He says, not really. He thinks that Bitcoin is largely a technological dead end, that people aren't really worried about advancing that protocol that much from a technical standpoint, and therefore it does not interest him. In my mind, from where they stand, they can let everyone else fight it out, right? And then if XRP Ledger Consensus is the best, they can start adopting that. If it's Ethereum smart contracts, great, they can bring that on chain. I think they can sit back a little bit. So I don't totally agree with him, but I understand what he's saying. He wants to go out here and do some radical stuff with space age technology, and that ain't Bitcoin right now. And so he's just not interested in it. But remember, this is software, and it's all built on open source, and you can change over time, no problem. I wouldn't, assume that Bitcoin will look the same necessarily a decade from now than it does today, my opinion. But David Schwartz says, look, with the current makeup, he's not interested. Again, let me know what you think about that. Do you think it will stay stagnant because of the culture of Bitcoin? Now, is the digital gold narrative dead? I put this post up today. I made this little chart here for you to see. I mean, you can see Here, gold just dominating crypto. That shouldn't have happened, but heck, it did, man. And it's a big deal here. In the last year, what I call boomer gold, that outperformed digital gold by nearly 115%. The scorecard, gold ripped to all-time highs, not even close. Crypto, the total crypto market cap, that's what I was looking at. Not just Bitcoin, but altcoins, everything. 2.4% or 2.4 trillion stuck in the mud here, just looking awful here. But markets aren't about looking in the rearview mirror. While gold, it's already had its glory. It's had its moment. Where is the rotation going to go? And that's why I feel good about this year. Unless we hit some kind of, you know, if we hit into a buzzsaw of some sort that's going to take the whole space down, then we can't do anything. But other than that, I think the rotation, it's going to come back to crypto because it's highly undervalued here, especially if you get the Clarity Act and all this other stuff. And when we see crypto actually being integrated into global financial plumbing, ETAs, RWAs, etc., man, to me, that's the rotation that makes sense. That when we hit the end of this year, this chart ain't going to look like that. You will see people rolling out of precious metals. You will see people rolling out of stock market at all-time highs into crypto. And again, unless it's a full-blown recession, we really run into something really nasty, I think crypto makes a nice rebound and outperforms this year. It's still early. We'll see it play out. But that's what I'm seeing. Again, most people don't, so be careful. Again, your bright minds out there, they don't see it like me. They're saying, crypto is going to keep going down and down and down into the dumps. We'll see as we go. Now, Charles here, Hodgkinson, we have a lot of stuff from here, but I think it's important. He announced a partnership with Layer Zero. Again, important. Going multi-chain, being able to interact with other chains. And the launch date for USDCX, broad wallet and exchange support here, saying this is an important stable coin that allows for privacy and immutability, and actually better than USDC. Good to see Cardano making a lot of moves out there. Now, Michael Saylor, he gave this talk. He's like, hey, Bitcoin could go to $8,000. No problem. When our loans are due, we'll just refinance them. I don't know if any of you have experience in the real world. It'd be like if you bought a house at $1 million. It drops to like $100,000, and you go back to the bank and say, hey, I want to refinance my debt, but your collateral ain't worth nothing. Like, to me, this was the most crazy interview I have seen. It was alarming. That ain't going to work. Ain't no one going to give you a loan if your collateral goes down in value like that. And so it's something to be worried about for sure. And he's making statements like, no problem, we'll just refi. Like, he's got to pay a lot of money in dividend payments. That debt will eventually come due. And if he hits a bad time, he's going to be in a lot of trouble here. And this is what I say, this is a problem. He has to continue all the way up by forever. And eventually you will hit a buzzsaw, and it ain't going to be good. You have to have income coming in to service that debt, and he doesn't. And to me, this is reckless. This is not a strategy. He may survive this cycle. He may survive this moment. Fine. It may outperform even. But that doesn't mean that this is a safe and good investment. Might be a great trade, but it doesn't mean fundamentally this is a good investment. Let me know what you think, though. Crypto regulations will pass, says Anthony Scaramucci, but he warns the crypto industry ain't going to like it. And remember what we're trying to do. We're trying to integrate with banks and financial institutions. We have to play again with their rules. Otherwise, just go fully decentralized, and no one can tell you what you got to do, and do whatever you want. That's the reality. Monero, they don't ask anyone's opinion. They just run, and it's fine. You can't stop them. But if you want to integrate with BlackRock, Fidelity, the U.S. government, whatever, you're going to have to play by the rules here. And Anthony is totally right here. We're not going to love everything about this. Get the deal done. Integrate with traditional finance, and we all get rich. And guess what? This is the Trojan horse of it all. You can still do your Moneros. You can do your stuff totally decentralized. You can do whatever you want without permission. But for those things you want to integrate with traditional finance, you're going to have to play by some rules. And we ain't going to like that. We ain't going to like that as, crypto enthusiasts. But that's okay because we're going to make a lot of money. It doesn't stop you from doing whatever you want at the end of the day. Charles Hoskinson with a quote, "I'm tired, boss." Basically saying retail is tired of the nonsense. NFTs, Scary Gary, meme coin rug pulls. But he says now We're like handing the industry over to JP Morgan, BlackRock, and all the traditional people we were trying to fight against. Does the retail crypto enthusiast finally get to win? I would say, yeah, but you can't have it both ways. You can't integrate with traditional finance and make your own rules, right? So if you want that, fine. You integrate with TradFi. You play by their rules. If you want to do something totally decentralized, guess what? You can't make millions of dollars above board and have mansions and ranches and, Lambos and all this other stuff that you want to do. It don't go both ways, people. You have to either integrate with the system or fight against it, but it doesn't mean that you're going to pass laws that say what you're doing is okay. And both approaches are fine, and we will have both approaches within cryptocurrencies. Just understand what you're going for. Charles Hoskinson, this excited me. He says, you know what? Midnight is using API access so we don't have to migrate off of Bitcoin, off of Ethereum, off of XRP or Solana. You can use your chain of choice here. And really, Midnight, the night token, Midnight, the blockchain, it abstracts a lot of this away. And you can use the functionality on the XRP ledger, on the Bitcoin blockchain, on the Ethereum blockchain to get those privacy features you need to do business. But still, this is how you get to mass adoption. Don't force people to go off the systems that they're using. Allow them to integrate that functionality. And that's what we see within ChatGPT and all sorts of different stuff on Web3. You're able, with API access, to integrate the functionality you want to use on the networks that you currently are on here. Now, he went on to say 15 years of announcement. We've all been through this. No adoption. What's going on? He really says that PET is the missing link, and night is the missing piece of that puzzle here. Businesses, they need privacy. You can't let your competitors see exactly what you're paying for different things, who all you're doing business with, where your debt payments are being made. You need some privacy to do business. Otherwise, you're going to be harmed. But we still need the same architecture to be totally decentralized, because if you have to be, use a public blockchain, but then do everything off chain for the stuff you need private, that doesn't really work. That doesn't make sense. We can't have two systems. We need to bring this all together. The privacy for your everyday work and your public blockchain integration to be able to interoperate with all sorts of different systems. You need both. And again, that's the problem he's starting to solve at Midnight. I'll tell you this. Does he get it done or not? I don't know. But what I will tell you are these are the important hot button topics of the time to pay attention to. This is so interesting. Elon for the longest time said, the moon, that ain't the ticket. It's all about Mars. He's pivoting. He says, yeah, Mars is still in play, but the moon, we have to go to the moon. This is such an interesting video today. Elon Musk explaining that they're going to have these mass drivers that will launch AI satellites into deep space. Grok is going to be sitting there, getting all of this, all of this power from the sun and in this very efficient environment, cooling all of this stuff. And what would such an intelligence even think about? Check out this video. It's really eye-opening to show where things are going here really, really quick. In the same idea, I did this article. It'll be linked down below, The Orbital Brain. It discusses why would someone want to go to space with AI, and it's bigger than just easy power and lower temperatures. It's actually a difference between the atmosphere and how it really interferes with physics and all sorts of stuff. Pretty interesting article. Check it out. Link down below. Read through it if you're into that type of thing here. Robinhood. I've been tracking this for some time. If you remember, Bitstamp, their acquisition, they put out a video about doing, this exchange that's built on the XRP ledger. I still think it's coming here, and there's a lot of noise here. Robinhood now owns a CFTC licensed futures and derivative exchange, the Bitstamp factory. I mean, this is one of the longest standing builders of the XRP ledger, and it just makes so much sense what they're going to do here. Micro XRP futures already live and seeing a lot of demand there. If Robinhood moves their new derivatives clearing to the XRP ledger, it's going to be the first major U.S. regulated bridge between Wall Street and a public ledger. This could be the game changer. I'm telling you, what matters here is it's not just Ripple, it's other billion-dollar enterprises using this technology stack to build the future. And if that happens, forget about it. This is going to be as big as it gets. Now, I think Robinhood's going to have their own chain. I think it's going to go multi-chain, hit a lot of different blockchains. But I think specifically this derivatives exchange here, that's part of this whole project to actually take things on the blockchain. I think that's going to leverage the XRP technology, and that's going to be really a game changer for both us as an investor in XRP and also for the industry long term. Lastly, Joe Lubin did this interview. He says, Bitcoin has an existential problem. It is not ready for quantum computers here. He says Ethereum, though, it is well positioned for a Q day. You know my opinion about this. I talked about this a lot. If we see someone that gets a runaway, breakthrough in quantum computing, my buddy Myron says they're already there, that it already exists. The last thing they're going to go after is an illiquid thing like blockchain. They're going to go after military and traditional finance well before they ever touch blockchain. But you have to start, figuring these problems out now. Is Bitcoin taking it serious? Most people say not serious enough, and they need to get in here and do the work today. But in some ways, listen, it's all open source. Like I said in the opening, they can gather a lot of stuff from Ethereum and what XRP does, and they can incorporate that in their blockchain. But let me know down below what you think. Is quantum gonna be a killer for Bitcoin, the Bitcoin blockchain? Is this going to be a problem? I don't think so. But some really smart minds out there say you should take this serious, and it may be someday. Interesting to hear from you. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.